Welcome back. Mail-in podcast time. I'm your host, Brett Merriman. To my right, she's back after creating life. Sally deFries.
I'm here.
Back in the building. Back with us on the Mail-in podcast. Sally, let me be the first to say congratulations on the addition of Charlie to the fam, to the squad.
Yeah.
We're very happy for you. Very excited for you guys.
Thank you.
And welcome back on the Mail-in.
Another ginger.
Another ginger, huh?
Well, he's currently blonde, but I think he's going to be a ginger.
Kind of fades into the red.
That's how Fritz was, so we'll see.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
How's things? How's life?
I'm tired. I was not ready to be on camera. I'm gonna shoot you straight. Okay. This season of my life of postpartum is not my hottest, but I am on a hotness journey again. Now, not that I wasn't. Wow. You too.
Solidarity.
Because
Randy's on one as well.
Oh, okay, Randy. Not that I wasn't hot when I was pregnant, okay? I'm not saying that like pregnant people are ugly.
No, they're glowing.
Honestly, I thought I looked great while I was pregnant. The issue is that when you're postpartum, you start like losing your hair and your hormones are crazy and you have no, energy, you don't sleep. And you don't have time to do your hair. But the worst part is that I recently restarted my retinol journey.
Oh, we're burning faces.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And have you heard of the retinol uglies?
No, I have not.
So when you start using Retin-A again, or retinoids, because you're increasing your cell turnover on your face, it can burn you, but also like bring up stuff that's been below the surface. So if you were gonna break out, like it's gonna cause you to break out.
The retinol uglies is what it's called?
Yes, that's what it's called. So what happens is most people who start using retinoids do it, and then they hit this phase where they're like, fuck, sorry for cussing, look terrible. Like my face is burned because I used too much, or now I'm breaking out around my chin and my mouth, and they stop using it. But you've got to just push through the uglies. You got to keep going for the sake of anti-aging. So that's where I'm at, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to see anybody for 3 months. So I'll just have my retinoid uglies.
The retinoid ugly phase.
But here I am with my hair falling out and my retinol uglies and my bags under my eyes from being tired. So I apologize to people who are watching on YouTube. Maybe don't for like the next 2 months.
In 10K in front of millions of viewers. Thanks to Randy. YouTube.com/mail-in podcast to see Sally and I in our retinoid ugly phase.
Yeah.
I'm on it too, so.
So did you ever have the uglies?
No, I have the skin burn though, for sure.
Yeah, well, because you and I have both fair skin. But how often are you using it?
Like once a week.
Because you gotta start going more than that.
More than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, you want to go to every day, but you have to work up to it.
Yeah,
because
that's intense.
like we said, you burn your face.
It's very, absolutely.
So you only need a tiny pee amount all over your face and neck. I would start like every 3 days to every other day and then work up to every day. But you've got to like let your skin get used to that. And not that this is a skincare podcast, but now that I'm on this roll, you must use sunscreen.
Got to roll, yeah. SPF that up afterwards.
I think people forget that they have to use sunscreen in the winter.
They should just do. I do it every day anyway.
You should.
Yeah.
Everyone should be using sunscreen every
Except
day.
that one time I was out at my buddy's ranch in San Saba, and it was like 64 degrees and sunny and windy, and we were sitting there watching college football. I got toasted.
That's the thing. People, when the weather is cooler, I
had no access to skincare. I was just like, oh, it's cool. I had a hat on. I had a coat on.
No.
Toast.
You got to protect that face.
Yeah, you sure do. Protect your well-being, your sanity, too, by listening to the Mail-In podcast. Hit us up on the hotline, 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast or in the description of this episode. Sally, are you ready to go?
Yeah, we're doing this live because I have not looked at the rundown yet.
Well, here we go.
This will be fun.
I think it's nothing we haven't covered before.
Okay, great.
I'm giving a best man toast this weekend. Give me all of the tips. This is my third time as a best man in a wedding. No big deal. And I feel like I finally have my strategy locked in. His first speech was good, but the nerves got to me. Second was also good, but definitely wouldn't touch too long. I think I'll rock my third attempt, but hit me with what you know.
Well, he sounds like he's in a good position.
Yeah, 3 best man. That's a big number.
Have you been a best man yet?
No, I haven't been a best man yet. I'm sure I will be for 1, if not 2. Well, the thing is, here's my problem with lack of best menship. All of my best guy friends have brothers, and they get the nod.
Yeah.
So I've been in a bunch of weddings, and I've given plenty of speeches at weddings, but never been anointed the best man.
I've been a maid of honor once for Lily's.
There you go.
And I probably have like exactly the same, like used that role as my own, but like for one of my friends was essentially that role, but her cousin was her maid of honor, but her cousin was young. And same thing for like a friend who had an older sister. Okay. He already hit on 2 things. So number 1 is the nerves. You can't do a lot about the nerves, but one thing I think is important is if you are making a toast, especially if it's at the wedding, but even if it's at the wedding versus the rehearsal dinner, number 1 is to not drink a lot before you do it. Okay. Like you can have a beer, a solitary cocktail, a glass of champagne, but I would not drink more than like 1 drink until you make the toast, because if you're already nervous and you start drinking, especially this is harder if you're doing it at the wedding, because you're like, it's an all-day affair. Maybe you're golfing, maybe you're getting ready. But like I would keep the alcohol consumption to the bare minimum if possible, because the absolute thing you do not want to happen is tip over the edge into drunk, and then you're making a drunk speech.
Drunk speeches are tough. In my experience, the worst best man speeches have been dudes who are tanked.
Right.
And they just go on.
Because then you're rambling and not making sense.
Or crying. In one case. We have shouts to
I cannot shout this person out.
Oh no.
But we have a friend who made his toast. He was not the best man, but he made a wedding toast.
Oh yeah.
That one of our friends recorded at the wedding.
Oh boy.
And he was like emotional. It turned kind of dark. And like he was slurring. One of the guests of the wedding, because he was friends with the bride and the groom, but like I think one of the bride's like uncles or something thought that our friends was ESL, was English second language, because he was slurring so bad they thought he was foreign. So that's number 1 is like keep the alcohol consumption to the minimum until you make the toast, and then do whatever you want, but like don't give fuel to the fire of nerves. Because you don't want to put yourself in a bad position.
Very much so.
Number 2 is don't go over. You know, no one's ever gonna sit there and be like, that was a shitty speech, it was too short. Okay. But people will roast you if it's too long.
Absolutely. And the thing that happens with like length on speeches, I think when you start writing it down, when you start scripting it too much, it can get lengthy kind of unexpectedly.
Right.
If you're trying to hit bullet points and all of a sudden you're trying to tie them together and you're like, then you're just rambling and rambling and rambling. The worst ones are either way too long or way too short. It's like my advice here is find a sweet spot, pick 5 things.
Yeah.
And just hit. Intro, something about him, something about a memory, something funny, and something to get out of there with.
Yeah.
That's about it. And if nerves are a factor, what I think the people that don't have experience with public speaking, or you want to try to go to like face blind to the crowd. And the way to do that is pick a point in the back of the room, the right side of the room, and the left side of the room, like just above head level.
Yeah.
So people think you're interacting and engaging with the crowd. And then number 3 would be don't memorize it, but don't be looking at a phone or notes. I don't like when people are standing there like reading off a script.
Nothing loses an audience more than when you whip out a 5-page fucking novel.
Yeah.
That's stapled.
And you hear the page, like when I met Taylor in the 2nd grade in Mrs. Anderson's class. Paper flip.
You know who's the worst about this though is like fathers. Fathers pull this out.
Well, they just like to, because
they want to talk, and they should. Yeah. They're the ones paying for the wedding. It's their daughter, blah, blah. You're like, We don't need that. We don't need 9 pages of like how great your daughter is. We know it. We're there. We're here for her. Well, I totally agree with everything you said. Pick 5 points. Honestly, what I think, especially if you can't memorize it and you aren't good flying off the cuff, I think the best thing to do is to, you don't have to script it out, but have a generalized idea of what you're going to say. And then even if you want to, in my opinion, the least egregious thing you can do is maybe bring a note card with you that has bullet points on it so that you know exactly where you're supposed to.
Even just like lean it on the table
you're
in front of. So you just can, if you need to reference something, you can. But don't be.
You don't need a phone to read off of. Nothing like I hate this looking at the phone, but and I'm talking bullet points as in one word.
Yeah.
Like, football. High school or football, so that you remember the story, and then like the first time you met the fiance or whatever it is, 1 to 3 word phrases to make you remember, and that's it. You don't need a script. You don't need paper with you. You don't need your phone because you'll lose the audience immediately.
All you do, so intro, who are you? 2, reel them in with something funny. Like I knew Ben before he was, or back when he was blacking out every night and not dating the most beautiful girl in the world. That's Sally. I met her for the first time.
Right.
Blankety blank. We did this together. This memory I have. Another joke. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. Have a good night. Toast. See ya. Bang.
Okay. And my last point. Know your audience. So I think there is a time and a place. Just know how rated RPG your jokes need to be.
Sure.
Nothing is going to kill it more than you making some joke about like your friend at his bachelor party with strippers when like that's not the crowd and there's a grandma present.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So keep the jokes, I would say PG if you can, unless you know that the crowd is going to be like a little bit more.
Don't go Jerry Seinfeld. Like, oh, I see we have the bride's brother here.
Yeah.
When last time I was with Richie in Vegas, hey, Richie. He was
eating a chicken tender out of a stripper's butthole or
something. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Richie, remember that one?
Yeah.
Sorry, Aunt Nancy.
Yeah.
Randy, you have takes, it appears.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I have a formula for these types of
really
speeches.
Hit us.
It goes intro, say who you are, all that stuff.
I'm Brett. I am
for those who don't know me.
For those of you who don't know.
And then you go comedy, which you go comedy, light roasting, like you don't go too bad, but light roasting of the groom mainly. Someone needs to catch a stray. Someone in the wedding party or like one of the grooms or groom or bride's family members. Someone catches a stray, comedy, all that. So it goes intro, comedy, then you go sentimental, and then you do a quick comic relief to get back into the fun of it. And then hooray.
It's my we said that we had the same formula.
We had the same formula. It's intro, comedy, sentimental, comic relief, hooray, cheers.
What is the worst speech you've ever heard at a wedding?
The worst one I've heard was the bride's father, but this guy's a talker and we knew it. And we were like taking bets. We're like, all right, the over is 15-minute speech. The over hit hard at 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
That is, I would be like, dude, I got to pee.
Yeah. You're like, people are trying to go to the bar at that point. Like, what's the worst one you've ever heard?
I can't say it's the worst. It's the most awkward one at a wedding. The groom's brother was in, like, it's kind of out of Wedding Crashers, like rehab. Tried to commit suicide and failed, and the brother like brought him back out of it. The brother got hammered, breakdown on stage.
Yeah,
and nobody stopped him. And it was like their mom had passed away, so it was one of these things where they were just it was an emotional breakdown on stage.
Yeah,
and
I've witnessed some not great ones.
The other one was a dry wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's hard too.
That somebody was very, very not dry.
Oh yeah,
and it was like, oh boy.
I've witnessed some bombs. I feel like normally it happens when too many people start making speeches and then people just don't know their limits. But I think Will and I would both agree that one of the worst we've ever seen. And I think this is like a personal preference, but we were at a wedding. And like I'm not super close with the bride anymore, but the best man did essentially like a 5-minute slam poetry reading. And the way he like delivered the whole thing was like so uncomfortable. And I was just like, I think he thought he sounded good was the worst part.
Like he thought he was funny. He thought he was Galifianakis up there. Ugh.
And it was not. It was
if you're
bad.
not funny, if you're not funny, don't try to be funny. You can use comedic relief, like, oh, see, Uncle Bill's been to the bar already.
Yeah.
Saw you, Uncle Bill. You didn't tip much though. Like just something.
But yeah, don't try to do a stand-up set.
Yeah, exactly.
And feel free to ad lib a little bit. Some of the best ones I've heard have ad libbed a little bit, and they were hilarious. It's like, so practice and have your extra speech, but don't go too long. But you can ad lib. If something hits you.
If something hits you, absolutely. But you just have a formula kind of in your head, like exactly like you said. Intro, comedy. Sentiment, middle,
Intro
relief, sentiment, story, comedy
relief,
back
and
out.
then cheers.
Yeah.
I can't make toast anymore because I hit my peak. Like one of the first weddings that I made a toast at, the bride and the groom are still really close with me, but I was like, it was my college roommate and her husband who they started dating when we were living together. That was my peak. I made both moms cry.
Ooh, nice.
It crushed so hard. It was a hard downhill from there. My last toast that was at Lily's wedding, fell so flat. Not a single person laughed at any of the jokes.
No.
And the thing was, I don't think it was that terrible. It was just that everyone was so already absolutely hammered on margaritas and mezcal that I lost the plot. I made a joke about her saving all of her baby teeth. No one laughed. Huh? The room was crickets. Will looked like he was about to crawl into a hole. So ever since then, I'm good on making toast. No one needs to hear from me anymore.
Cheers. The best one literally the last wedding I was at was my cousin's wedding, and the bride's older sister. I make the joke that I'm like, oh, here goes another story about middle school.
Yeah.
And girls, we have to rein that in. We have to rein in when I was in second grade.
It's so bad when you walk up and you start talking and immediately sobbing. Just don't do it.
Yeah, just break down. But this girl crushed it. It was hammered the husband, hammered the what. I almost I was
yeah,
clapping in the end, just stand up, unbelievable. Shouts to I forgot what her name is. Carrie's husband or Carrie's older sister. Shouts to you. Anyway. You know what you need after a wedding.
I was about to make this little segue.
The morning
or during
after.
a wedding.
Or during, yeah.
Maybe
you played golf in the morning. You need some hydration going in the afternoon. That's our friends over at Liquid IV. You don't need to be an athlete to need extra hydration throughout your day. From Zoom meetings and workouts to long travel days and fun nights out, Liquid IV makes it easy to stay hydrated. We're talking 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone, all in a single stick. And now you're rocking with their hydration multiplier and 3 delicious sugar-free flavors, Sally. You familiar with these?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the sugar-free.
White peach, green grape, and lemon lime. I'm personally a huge lemon lime fan. On the zero sugar front, it's pretty much a daily thing at this point. Whether it's after hockey, after hot yoga, which I've been doing a ton of, and I am parched. Big fan of Liquid IV in that situation.
I'm drinking a lot because I'm breastfeeding.
Oh, there you go.
You got to stay hydrated
I didn't even think about
to make the milk.
Yeah, you're drinking for 2 at that point.
Yeah, you are.
Goodness gracious. 1 stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Again, 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. And it's just something you need for everyday use. Whether you're feeling a little run down, you got their vitamin C pack. Maybe you need a little energy boost with the matcha blend. Maybe it's just a hydration thing. Morning after, why not? Grab your Liquid IV hydration multiplier, sugar-free in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MAILIN at checkout. That is 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MAILIN at liquidiv.com. You want to do the next one, Sal?
Yes. Hey, folks. I need some advice on how to handle a new roommate situation. For context, I bought a place 7 years ago to avoid high rental prices in my city. I've Always lived alone with my dog in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. A friend of mine is caught in a bind and needs to live with me until her situation is figured out. I'm happy to offer her a place to stay, but as it gets closer to her move-in date, I'm having anxiety about living with someone after all this time. Any advice that can help me through this transition?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've lived with somebody too.
Yeah.
I get the anxiety.
I think the best thing you can do in this situation is just be upfront about like all your expectations.
Ooh, okay.
Number one, and she didn't say this, but like, is the friend gonna pay? You know, like that takes a lot of the anxiety out of it, because I think when you live with somebody, like understanding how bills are going to be split and stuff is most people's source of anxiety and like resentment towards each other. So set that up front. Are you expecting her to pay you? Like, don't let it be one of those situations where she's not paying and then like a month and a half in, you're like, maybe she should be paying me rent. Like, get that out of the way first. So like, is she going to pay you rent? Are y'all going to split like electric, water, etc.?
Yep.
What is the expectation? And set those clearly from the get-go.
Sure. I like that. I would also think about, food and things like that. Like, I think the biggest thing too with living with somebody is like free time, or who's got the living room TV, or who's watching, there's these shared experiences. And is this person, if they're like a little down on their luck and they're unemployed, or they just laying on the couch all day and you're like, hey, I kind of want to keep it, I don't know how it works, but I think just communicate is the best thing. Like, hey, I usually do this, or I'm having people over, or hey, maybe here's a ground rule. Like, if you're going to have somebody over, please text me about it. There's like, it just sounds like a friend. It's not like it's not going to be a roommate. It's going to be more like a guest for a while. So that's to me is different than a true roommate situation.
And living with somebody is always an adjustment, because you have to like learn each other's patterns and personalities. And even if they're your really good friend, those first couple weeks of like understanding how the other person works, they're always interesting. But I honestly think you like take her to dinner and just be very honest with her.
Talk it out. You're like, you are now coexisting with somebody. And so it's like, hey, here are my quirks. Or if I do something with the dishwasher that really pisses you off, don't steam on it. Like, let me know. Or if you do something that really pisses me off about the bathroom, I'm going to let you know. It is easier since you have a 2-bed, 2-bath. It's going to be a very like, I'm on this wing and you're in that wing. Please keep your wing clean, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Randy, you famously live with a roommate.
I do.
What were some of your quirks that you guys had to work out in the new crib?
I'm gonna be honest with you, not much.
Jason has a dog too, so that's like an important, got to be on the same page with.
I think for me, it's always been, I've always lived with someone I've known. I've never like lived with a random person. For me, that's a lot easier. Like if it's your friend, I feel way more easy, like being very direct, be like, hey, don't do this, or hey, like it's your turn to buy the paper towels and stuff. I think just being able to have that camaraderie, just be very open and honest with your new roommate. Be like, hey, you're supposed to be doing this or whatnot, and try like not come at it as like a pointing fingers, like hostile thing, more of like a, I'm sure you didn't know this. Like, let me just like an education thing instead of like an aggressive.
Let's be as limited on the passive aggressive front as possible. Like, oh, C didn't do this.
Yep.
It's just like, that doesn't help anybody. Just be like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about your TV habits or your shower habit. Whatever it might be that causes you the anxiety. Talk it out.
Yeah, let's say just don't be aggressive about it. Like instead of saying don't do that, be like, hey, can you not do this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot in the wording. And
I get the anxiety ahead of it, but I think it's one of those things that you kind of got to wait until you're in the thick of it to really solve that anxiety. So it's like everybody has this, if you move in, you kind of like, well, I don't know how it's going to go, but you just got to wait till it happens to really address those things.
And honestly, look forward to it. It could be a little fun. Like Jason and I have a blast living together. So you're going to have a lot of fun with it too. So like kind of look forward to the fun things you're going to get to have, like doing a roommate.
That's honestly such good advice, Randy, because it is your friend. Like you're never going to have this experience with them again. You're on like a several month long like trip together essentially. So like enjoy it and try to focus on that instead of being like thinking of all the negatives.
Embrace it. I like that. Mail-in crew. Recently out of a long-term relationship and taking some time for myself. I've been in the gym for a few days a week, added a weekly trainer visit, and have been playing more golf than ever before. Sounds tight. I took a trip to visit family a few weeks back and have scheduled another one over Christmas for a full week. As such, I decided to take a solo golf trip to a resort in Frisco, Texas for Thanksgiving. I've got tea times and a massage scheduled for my visit, but here's the question. Is it weird to get a reservation for one for Thanksgiving dinner? I'm all for bellying up for the bar to the bar for drinks and dinner across the week, but that feels wrong for Thanksgiving dinner. And the concierge desk, made a comment about a table for one on Thanksgiving. Also, as a pale king, will it be Q-zip weather in late November in Texas? I'm assuming he's referring to me as also a pale king.
I'm a pale queen.
You are a pale queen. It could be. Usually, I would say it's Q-zip weather at least some point during the day.
Yeah.
But you do always run the risk in Texas of around 1 or 2 p.m. You might have to pop top.
Yeah.
For a little while. And then it goes back on after the round. At first, I was like, no, go off. But the only reason I would be even close to hesitant about this is if the resort or hotel is very much like a limited dining area option and you are taking a table for 4 by yourself.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense? I'm just like, I'd feel if people have to work there on Thanksgiving already, they want a full table and they want people to pay for a full meal times 4 versus one person taking up a table that would have been taken by 4 people.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, then no, go for it. Or you can maybe sit at the bar and eat or something like that. Or if they have another restaurant on campus. But I just kind of feel out the situation. Like, hey, are you guys backed up for Thanksgiving? Am I the only res? I think it's one of those things that get more information on it. But no, it's not weird doing Thanksgiving for one. I'm all for it. You know me. I'm all for solo experiences.
Yeah, I honestly think just feel out. That was gonna be my advice to the concierge. Be like, hey, it's just me, so like I don't want to take up a table, but happy to eat at the bar. Or
do you guys have a full service bar that I can eat the same thing at?
Yeah, or you can deliver it all to my room, and I'll have because like the introverted extrovert of me is like I would probably take this opportunity to get in a robe and eat Thanksgiving dinner like in my hotel bed while watching like all the episodes of Friends from Thanksgiving,
It's true.
But that's just me like wanting to be by myself and have some alone time. But I also I feel like there's the flip side of that where you're like, I'm stir crazy. I like need to see other people.
Oh, totally.
Be out in the environment.
Yeah. And especially on Thanksgiving, like you'll FaceTime the family and get the communication thing kind of in and then it's you time. All things I'm kind of like
Are you about to do this? You're just about to take like a solo Thanksgiving trip?
The solo trip sounds fantastic. We were at dinner with some friends last night, and he had just taken a solo trip to like Tyler, and he was staying in these little like getaway cabins. Are you familiar with these? They're like tiny houses.
Yeah.
That people have dragged on trailers to certain locations.
Okay.
And he just did like a solo trip to Tyler in East Texas. And I was like, man, that sounds fucking awesome. Just get out, clear the mind. Excuse me. But yeah, I think this is gonna be great for this guy.
I love Thanksgiving.
I do too.
Honestly, if solo Thanksgiving, you completely remove all the like drama that surrounds Thanksgiving with like families.
Totally. It would like I would be a little caught sad situation. I mean, mine's a little different though, but it sounds all. Imagine like getting in a robe in your hotel, eating some Thanksgiving, and then just like watching football or
as a meal. Like I love Thanksgiving food.
Okay.
Truly. And I love Thanksgiving in general, but there's always the stuff that happens during Thanksgiving that's just so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like somebody's uncle bringing up politics or some shit.
Every year.
It's literally like the drama that surrounds our family, being from a big family, is that like we all, everyone has like their role to play. And my role is usually making dinner with my mom. So I spend a lot of time, which then in turn puts a lot of pressure on Will because Will has to show up to my parents' house and like now take care of kids while I'm cooking. But then everyone kind of resents the sister that just shows up like 2 minutes before, eats, and then leaves. So we have a lot of dynamics because there's 5 of us. And then my parents who like want us to come hang out at the house.
Oh, but and they're like, they want like a full 10-hour.
Right. But the problem is that we like, my mom wants that, but then we come out there and she's like, my mom is one of those people who can't like sit still and just chill.
Oh,
so like people will come out and like my dad and my brother will be watching football or whatever. Everyone's just like chilling. And she is like, wants us to like put us to work. So like, she's like trying to get Christmas decorations out. We're like, can you just like sit down with a glass of wine and just chill out?
That's
but like
she would have loved my mom. Because it's like if she sees you sitting she's like, well, you can't be sitting down. Like, get up and do something.
Right. And like so then the rest of my siblings are like, well, I'm not gonna go out there to just be like free manual labor. So like then it like so that drama of it, and that's not even that dramatic, but it's like all of that bullshit would be nice to avoid. But then it's, the one important thing about the holidays in general is like to remember that no one's life looks like any of the movies that we've like watched growing up. So I think we spend a lot of time, has nothing to do with this guy's question, but we spend a lot of time like mourning the fact that our family isn't representative of like what the American like Christmas movie family is, you know? But no one's Thanksgiving is like that, or Christmas. And even when you think that like other people's are like that, because you see their like pictures on Instagram of their like matching Christmas pajamas and blah, blah. Like, that they probably had like a blow up fight like 2 hours before about something really pointless.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
But like every year at Thanksgiving, I'm like, I wish our family could just like sit down and chill.
Sit down and be like
exactly what you said. Like your mom was the same way. Like everyone has their own shit and you forget because you're like so mired up in your own family.
The shouts to Barstool Big Cat had a great take. He's like, I always in his family and his wife's family, I guess it was a big family. He was always like, I was the store run guy.
Yeah.
Like if somebody needed anything, he was just like, I offered constantly.
That's
like,
my brother. Yeah.
I'll run to the store. I'll run out. I gotcha. Gas station.
We need ice. We
need ice. Need beer. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
I'm there. I'm your guy. Because he's like, I would just go sit in the parking lot and like have 9 minutes to myself to scroll Twitter.
Yeah.
And like.
Will's kind of that guy. Will doesn't anymore because of the kids, but yeah, I think it's important for everyone to know what their role is.
Know your role. No, you're the dinner role, and maybe somebody else is get there 2 minutes ahead. And
I'm gonna just totally like. I'm gonna just
name names.
Totally out her. It's Emily. Emily shows up. She brings wine. She gets there. She complains that the food's not ready yet.
Oh no.
And then starts drinking and like gets annoyed with everyone else for it not being ready. Doesn't do a dish, doesn't make anything. And then she will be like, I gotta leave. I gotta let my dog out. And we're like, we have a newborn here that we need to take care of.
You just like bring the dog. I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy? Is that
I'm going to tell her to bring the dog this year, honestly. Because part of the reason the last couple of years we haven't brought our dogs out there, it's like my parents live on all this property. We should bring the dogs. And we used to. But the last couple of years, my parents' dog, Rocky, R.I.P., was really old. So we couldn't bring our dogs around him because it would like stress him out. And he passed away a couple months ago. So I'm like, everyone bring the dogs out.
Bring the dogs.
This is like my parents. They're like, we want to have you out. Like we want to. We have a hot tub. Like let's make a whole thing of it. But then it's not a relaxing situation. It's,
no, never it is. Never is.
And everyone's because we all live in Austin and we're like traveling 30 minutes north to go to my parents' house. Everyone's just like, I just want to be back in my own house, doing my own shit. Super looking forward to it.
Can't wait. I also love the fact that everything Thanksgiving is just beige, like beige and maroon.
Another tangent that's so unnecessary. We're trying to keep this tight, but the first time that I ever went to Will's parents' Thanksgiving, I made a dish that was like it's like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprout kind of au gratin situation.
Ooh,
the only green thing that existed of the whole.
Absolutely.
And it's not healthy, okay? It's like smeared in like cream of mushroom soup with cheese and bacon. And literally Will's aunt looked at me and was like, I'm not comfortable eating that. The rest of the plate was like just different colors of brown and beige.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so Midwest. Like, put one vegetable on there. People are like, nah, I'm good. Actually, like, this is not the starch. I'm fine.
It's the courtesy green.
Yeah.
It's the green bean casserole that we have as a side.
But green bean casserole slaps.
It's so good. Oh, I get some. I'm not part of the
Don't come at me with like we need
crew.
a salad, okay? But like I will eat a green vegetable if it is absolutely coated in some sort of like cheese
and butter,
gravy
and
situation.
heavy cream. Right. My thing on Thanksgiving is just dinner rolls, man.
You just love a Parker House roll?
I skimp on turkey because like give me some rolls. Let me load up.
Okay. We're gonna have to cut a question out because we're just now talking about Thanksgiving. But
I love talking about Thanksgiving.
No, me too. I could do this throughout the podcast. Have you read the old PGP writer Brian McGannon's thing about eating 23 rolls at Thanksgiving dinner?
all time column. It's up there with Dave getting shelled as a little league baseball coach or baseball player, and just any things girls do.
Yeah, well. It's a great column. That just reminded me.
I'm gonna have to run that. Maybe we can see if we can put that in the Wash newsletter.
Yeah.
And credit Brian with it. Oh man, what's your favorite side?
Honestly, probably this broccoli cauliflower dish.
Okay.
We don't have a name for it. Is the problem. I would I would equate it to an au gratin situation.
Yeah, it's like it's some sort of, it's casserole adjacent.
It's
right?
casserole adjacent.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those family recipes that's been like passed down. But essentially, what you do is you parboil like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and then you just absolutely drench the shit out of it with a can of cream of mushroom, a can of cream of celery, a bunch of cheddar cheese, and bacon bits.
Yeah, you're making a loaded baked potato casserole.
But the way that it like, this sounds gross, but the way that it congeals and then like heats up the next day.
Yeah.
Because it's like, honestly, the way you like prepare the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts, they're not like, there's no nutrients left in them. They're basically just mush.
Yeah, they're green mush.
But it's so good.
It sounds fantastic.
We can do a Wash Friendsgiving and I'll make it.
I haven't done a Friendsgiving in a couple of years.
Me neither.
Might have to run that back.
Or like I would say potatoes, whether they're mashed or we do a lot of scallop potatoes.
Ooh,
too.
That's a good one. We were always a mac and cheese household.
So I've made a mac and cheese a couple of years.
Yeah.
I definitely am going to do it this year because of the kids.
Yeah. There you go.
A homemade mac and cheese where you make your own roux and stuff is so good.
That's so my dad would do it every year and has since passed down the recipe. So that is always my Thanksgiving contribution.
Do you do like breadcrumbs and stuff on top?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
4 different cheeses.
Yeah.
Own roux for days. That heats up phenomenally the next day too.
Yeah.
We were always pretty traditional though. It was stuffing, like stovetop. My grandpa would make like the gizzard stuffing, the real deal.
My mom does that too.
And my grandma was like, "No, give me the store-bought stuff."
The like literal stovetop brand.
Yeah, exactly. Turkey, stovetop, cranberry sauce, and the can thing.
Yeah, you do the berries and the can.
Yeah, mac and cheese. Yeah. I think there would always be a potato option, rolls, and green bean casserole, and corn. Yeah. Weirdly.
Yeah, Lily makes a mean creamed corn.
Mean creamed corn. Okay.
Wow, we just spent like 15 minutes talking about Thanksgiving.
And we could go all episode.
That's the episode, you guys. We're done. There it is.
But first, we have to tell you about our friends over at DraftKings. You feel that chill in the air this week, Sally?
Yeah, I do.
That means the NHL is back, and it's time to hit the ice. DraftKings Sportsbook is getting new customers ready for puck drop with an epic offer. You can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on hockey. That's worth a Sally.
Yeah.
You following those Dallas Stars this year?
I'm actually following the Red Wings this year.
Let's go. Will said he was getting back into hockey this year.
He is. So not that I'm like he literally just explained the rules of hockey to me. I didn't know what like offsides or anything meant.
Have you ever seen a live hockey game?
No, I have not.
Oh,
yeah.
Best sport to watch live.
I have heard that. I think we're gonna try to go to a game.
You absolutely. Does Fritz have a Red Wings jersey yet?
He just got one. Literally a week ago.
Let's go.
So I have been watching the Red Wings. Have not seen a Stars game yet.
Well, if you'd like to bet on them, DraftKings is your spot. Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code WASHED. New customers can get $200 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code WASHED only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Here's the disclaimer, Sally. Ready for this? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/hockey terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright of the NHL 2023. All rights reserved.
You absolutely crushed that.
Thank you very much.
I'm not going to lie to you. It sounded like you were reading off the side effects in one of those drug commercials.
That's where I was channeling that.
Okay, great.
I feel like I just like Will Ferrell blacked out.
Yeah, I'm about to try to do the same thing with this long question. Okay.
Hop in.
What's up, Mail and Crew?
This is from Randy, by the way.
Okay. We have established that it's not from Randy.
Oh.
We can cut that part out, Randy, if you want.
I mean, I think it's good I don't have any STDs.
Okay. So I've gone on a handful of dates with a girl. We're both late 20s, and it's gone really well. We have a ton in common, share similar values, have aligning life goals, and have great chemistry. We move slow physically, though. About 5 days in, and I would have expected to have sex by now.
5 dates, by the way.
5 dates.
Not just 5 days.
Sorry, 5 dates. I said dates.
Okay. I heard days. I was like, oh, I don't want to be like.
No. 5 dates. I would have expected we had sex by now, but I was fine being patient. Well, at the end of date 6, she shared with me that she has genital herpes. She's had it for around 5 years with only occasional mild outbreaks, takes an antiviral regularly, and has never transmitted it to anyone, to her knowledge. It seems like the biggest negative impact it has on her life is the stigma, the fact that this has been a deal breaker for other men in the past. From my own research, it seems like the risk of contracting it is decently low, but again, it's really the stigma that affects your life more than anything. Having to have those conversations with potential partners and exposing yourself to judgment and such. What would you do in my situation? I'm leaning towards being comfortable with it because it doesn't seem worth giving up on what could be a fantastic relationship. But if I were to contact it and we ended up breaking up, having an incurable STD would pretty negatively impact my dating life in the future. As of now, I'm getting a full STD screening this week anyway at her request. Who knows? Maybe I already have an asymptomatic case anyway. Apparently, oral herpes is very common and very often undiagnosed. Okay.
Interesting one here.
PSA to everyone out there, get checked regularly.
Get screened.
Yeah.
STD screening.
Yes. Especially if you're switching partners.
Yes.
Or cheating on your significant other or something like that.
Yeah, that too.
Let's have
get screened regardless.
Yeah. Okay. So he is correct. The chance of contracting it is insanely low if she is not having an active breakout.
Got it. Okay.
So, especially if she's on Valtrex, the antiviral that you take,
yep.
Getting it is very low. He is also right that he could be an asymptomatic carrier. Men are much more likely to be asymptomatic carriers of STDs, like HPV and things like that.
Interesting.
And not show. It's just another thing that men have over women. It's great.
Sorry.
In my opinion,
of men.
For me, I don't think this is a deal breaker.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think if it's going as well as he says it's going, and you can see a very legitimate relationship here.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things like, yeah, then I think you're ready to take the next step. You have all these precautions in place. Does condom versus no condom make a difference in that situation? I would think so, but I don't
think so. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. It has been a long time since I've done my STD research / like via school. So I'm not going to give advice that I am not confident in. But
I think like say you were to engage in oral sex, I think that is still a path to transmission, I believe.
Yeah.
People are like screaming at their TV or whatever right now. But
the only thing I can say for certain is that you are way more likely to catch an STD if somebody is having, specifically with like something like herpes.
Okay.
If someone's having an active outbreak.
Yep.
Because a lot of these are lifelong diseases, viruses that lay dormant, and then you have outbreaks, and that's when you're at risk of transmitting it to somebody else.
When the virus is the most, or is active, or multiplying, or whatever it might be, right?
Right. So, again, it's been a really long time since I've taken freaking biology and can like list off all the ways that each STD could be transmitted. There's a few that are bacterial transmitted. So obviously if that's going on,
that's a different situation.
Like gonorrhea, then you just take antibiotics, it's out of your system. But things like HPV, herpes, HIV, all those things last forever, but you can get to a level where you're not actively passing it on. I think HPV infects like 8 out of 10 people.
I think it's one of those like hyper. I think if you've ever had like a canker sore, right? You have HPV.
No, that's herpes simplex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
HPV is a bigger risk, especially for women, for cervical cancer. So
yep.
HPV is the one that a lot of guys can carry, have absolutely no symptoms of. Really, women would have no symptoms until they get a pap smear and then have abnormal cells.
Golly.
So again, important to get checked regularly. Carrying HPV, most people are. So then if you're a woman and you have it, or a woman in general having sex, you should just be getting pap smears normally. All that being said, my advice is I would not let this be a deal breaker, but when you're getting an STD screen, or if you feel like you have some caveats, I would speak to a general practitioner and be like, hey, what are the precautions I need to take?
Really good opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So not a deal breaker. I agree with you on that. Get more information from people that are not just internet therapists.
Yeah. But I think especially, I mean, exactly what he said. It's like more of the stigma of everything, but
totally. Yeah.
As long as she's not having any active outbreaks, or is being honest with you about if she is having an active outbreak, then, and she, especially because she's taking antivirals, she might not have one ever again.
Knock on wood,
or only in like very, like limited, stressful or immunocompromised situations. I mean, even the thing is, like, we're at the same place. I think most people would probably consider HIV to be like a worse STD to have.
Yeah.
But we're even in a place with science now
where that
and like treatment where you can take antivirals, where your HIV load is so low that your risk of passing it on to other people is very low too.
Isn't that crazy? In 30 something years, how far science has come in that department.
Right. So the likelihood of passing it on to someone who's been very conscientious of themselves and knowing it, and that's where I would feel safer, because she already disclosed it to you. She knows, she said she's taking antivirals, all of those things, versus not telling you, telling you 3 months in after you've had sex. I already had sex. Exactly. So for me, this is not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
People are dealing with STDs all the time. Because
not Randy.
Not Randy.
Cleans a whistle.
Yeah. But like you said, we need to break the stigma, because a lot of people have them, and based on how like the medical advancements are, if you're being responsible, taking medication, etc., letting your partners know, the risk of passing it on is really low. So I think go for it.
Go for it. I stand with responsible genital or herpes havers.
Okay.
Anybody else want to, in solidarity?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Hey, Brett and guest. I recently moved.
Sally, I'm back, you guys.
Okay. Hey, Brett and Sally. To be fair, he might have asked, or she might have asked this when you were out.
Okay, fine.
Hey, Brett and Sally. I recently moved to a new city and started dating again. I've been seeing a girl for about a month, and so far it's going great. She's really cool. I like spending time with her, and she really seems like my type. However, she told me that she's moving into my neighborhood, and we live about a 3-minute walk from each other. It's arguably a fantastic dating situation, but it's making me want to end things. I really don't think I'd feel like ending this if she wasn't moving, so I'm trying to wrap my head around what the issue with this is. I do really like her, so any help or advice for getting over this one factor would be greatly appreciated. A commitment thing here.
Yeah.
Somebody's afraid of commitment.
Yeah. Because she's moving to the neighborhood? She's not moving into your house.
Right. So that's exactly. You can live next door to somebody and still be cordial and still, if something doesn't if something goes south on the date, it's not like she's moving there because of this guy.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if you went on 3 dates and she's like, I'm moving in next to you.
Yeah.
That's different. She's moving there because it's like, oh, it works for her. So in a vacuum, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. And he's just nervous. It's going to be like, he's like, oh, I'm going to be like locked down. And now I have a girlfriend. And now I'm getting married. And like, he's having an existential crisis over this that he does not need to be having.
This is the Jim Karen situation from The Office.
Oh, good pull.
I can't believe I remembered that. But yeah. So yeah, I totally agree with you. He's just freaking out because he thinks that it's like, it's coming on too strong, which is totally normal to feel after 1 month.
Sure, absolutely.
But again, at the end of the day, she's not moving into your house, and she's not even moving into like your apartment building. Like
3-minute walk. That's plenty.
And you could break up with her and never see her again. They're like,
absolutely.
How many times do I not ever see any of my neighbors? Like
a lot.
A lot.
I don't know any of my neighbors' names.
Correct.
That may be more of a me problem.
No, I definitely don't know any of my neighbors' names. But there's people who live in my building that I've like literally never set eyes on. So correct. I don't think this is that big of a deal. I think he's getting in his head about it.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before, but there is a point in every relationship, especially when you are probably moving towards something serious, that comes, in my opinion, around a month to 6 weeks in, where you're like, oh shit, I'm getting into like a relationship.
It's the end of the honeymoon phase, right? Well, I guess the honeymoon phase can last a little bit longer from like a lovey-dovey aspect,
right?
But there's like the I mean,
the like when it goes flirting, talking phase is over, and you like might start dating.
Yes,
and I think that can scare people. It certainly scared me with Will. I mean, let's talk about this. Like, love Will. We're married, have 2 children, but like when Will was living in Michigan and I was living in Houston, it was like, oh my God, like I'm like talking to this guy. This is so random of me. We met on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he was moving here and I was like, whoa, shit, I think I have a boyfriend now. Like, and most people, especially if you haven't had a serious relationship ever or in a long time, tends to bring up a little bit of panic, even when everything is normal. And that's the time that you start questioning like all their traits. Do I want to be with somebody who does this?
Yeah, the red flags, the beige flags.
But like,
speaking of beige.
Right. Beige flags that like aren't even a problem, that you're just making a problem because you are stressed.
Do you have a beige flag?
Yes.
Oh, what is it?
I'm not going to tell Will's beige flag on here.
Do you personally have a beige flag?
Oh, I don't think so. Do you?
Probably. I don't know.
Randy, do you have a beige flag?
No, but Brett has plenty enough beige flags.
I definitely
Could you please name one for us?
I don't know. I don't want to do them like that.
No, but fucking beige flag my ass, Randy. What kind of beige flags do I have?
No, they're all red.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks, Randy.
No, but I just think you would probably be getting to this point in the relationship if you were going to make things serious with her based on your personality, how you feel about her, etc. It just happens to be coming right now because she's moving into your neighborhood.
Exactly.
Is my point. My opinion.
Nothing to worry about. It's not putting the accelerator on the relationship. It's just in a vacuum. She's moving closer to you, not because of you, not for you, not because of the relationship. She's moving down the street, and it'll be fun, and embrace it.
Yeah.
And if you break up, or if something goes south, or you feel off about it, 6 months into that setting, then fine, we can look at it differently. But no reason than if she was 19 minutes down the street.
Right.
Same kind of thing.
Right.
So did you know you don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health?
I do know that.
Nutrafol provides a whole body health approach for men that promotes healthier hair. No drugs, no compromises, just better hair. Men think losing their hair is inevitable. Take control of your hair's future with Nutrafol's science-backed hair growth supplement for men. They're the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Their hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural, science-backed ingredients Their drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. Big deal there. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their hair wellness quiz, identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair health through whole body wellness. So here's the deal. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping. We can go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter the promo code MAILIN. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men, and enter promo code MAILIN. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code MAILIN.
I'm just going to caveat that really fast. I personally ordered Nutrafol on my own dime using our promo code last week because I am losing hair. And it doesn't have to be just for men, ladies, because they have a woman's formula and they have a postpartum formula, and I'm back on my hair growth journey. Thank you, Nutrafol. That's just a little free PR for you.
Big shout.
There's a little added bonus.
AV, you want to do the last one?
Yes. Are we doing 6?
Do 6.
Okay. Brett and Sally, my wife and I are planning a trip to New York at Christmas for our first anniversary. What are recommendations for fun activities, restaurants, shows, etc.? We have both done the touristy stuff. This will be her first Christmas in the city. For context, we are staying at the Soho Grand Hotel and we'll be there for 3 nights and 4 full days. Y'all rock. Thanks for the advice. I love this.
I'm doing it. Actually, we might be doing it.
I hope that we're doing it because I already love New York, but like New York at Christmas is just one of those experiences that like is so magical. It like brings you back to like a Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Eloise at Christmastime. It's like all of the like childhood magic you had, but like you're an adult and you can like have fucking cocktails. It's great.
It's the magic of a kid with booze.
Yes. Yes. It's the first time. Well, okay. So not the first time, but probably the second or third time I went to New York was the first weekend of December. Will and I had like been dating for probably a year at that point, and we had the best time. I have like the fondest memories of that weekend. We were there with friends. We saw his friends. It's a great time to be in the city.
It is, like you said, it's magical. From like an advice standpoint, get out, get on Madison Ave, get on Fifth Ave, get on like you've done the touristy stuff in New York, but you've like the Christmas touristy stuff is almost different.
Yeah.
Like seeing the Macy's building with all the lights on it.
Yeah.
If you want to do Times Square, it's not really Christmassy, but it is cool. Central Park is beautiful. Just do Park Ave and like see all the lights on it. Do the tree, ice skate if you want. Like do the stuff that you see in the TV shows and movies,
etc. Yeah.
And because it is really beautiful. It's really special.
Yeah.
You want to go to Rolf's, which is the Christmas bar. Most bars are Christmased out in one fashion or another, but Rolf's is like the number one, Santa bar. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing it too. I think we're like ideally getting in like the Tuesday, Wednesday before Christmas, staying through till I go back to Saratoga. So, in Soho, I don't really know about like lower Manhattan Christmas stuff. I'm more a Midtown, Upper East Side guy. But my favorite bar restaurant that I will be going to is Tanner Smith's.
Okay.
Great spot for Christmas or otherwise. But
so when we did this trip, here's a couple of my things. Number one, I have not actually ever done Rolf's. We had with the trip we went on, a couple of my friends went.
It's cool.
They just went in to like have a drink.
Yeah.
It's not like a must do, but it's an added bonus.
Yeah, if there's no line and you happen to stumble by it on a Wednesday afternoon, like it's worth a drink.
Yeah. I don't think you need to get a dinner reservation there or anything like that.
Don't get it. I would argue. Well, no offense to Rolf's. There's better dinners in this.
Correct. What I would do is like pick out a couple of restaurants in like Soho or the West Village and like do the cozy shit. Like have like a cozy dinner at like, any of the like millions of like really cute like West Village restaurants.
Or
just hop on Resi and just go out. Like, but you got to do it now. Actually, shit. Like literally.
Right now. You know what? This has reminded me to get reservations for next month.
Right. Because most places are either going to book out all of December on November 1st, or you've got a couple places like that will do it 4 weeks out or even 2 weeks out. So like get on Resi, figure out where you're going to go.
I can't get on Resi anymore.
Why not?
I have multiple accounts, and Randy was helping me book stuff through his email, and he took it back. So I can only book like
Brett one day.
So you're just like gaming the system by having like multiple reservations.
Yes,
okay,
you have
it.
to. You would do the same thing.
Well, Will and I do that. That's,
okay.
I just feel like he was banned. One day we're sitting out there at the bullpen, and he goes, "Hey, what's your phone number?" And then I told him, and he just goes, "Hey, you're going to be getting some texts about reservations." I'm like, "Well, you just took my number and didn't ask me to use it for this account."
It's so annoying because they don't allow you to do 2 reservations on the same day.
Time, right?
Or even like you can't make a lunch one or a happy hour one for 5 and then a dinner one for 7.
Right. You have to have a certain amount of hours in between.
So you just steal your friend's phone
I didn't steal your
You didn't ask me
gave
to use it.
Okay. Here's what my advice for the New York stuff. I mean, there's a million really good restaurants in New York. I'm not even going to like give you tips. If you want to like do like the quintessential New York ones, like do your research, get on fucking DuMont, do whatever you want to do and hit like Via Carota or whatever. It's going to be impossible to get in, but like, you know,
my one bougie ass Christmas restaurant, One If by Land.
Okay.
Unbelievable beef Wellington.
I mean, you could also always do like the Polo Bar or like Fort Charles Prime or something like that. That's like going to be a cozy situation.
Yeah, cozy as fuck.
So get the cozy reservations. But one of the favorite things that we did when we went in December is we had brunch actually on the Upper East Side. Can't remember where we had brunch. Could not for the name of life of me tell you. But it was like up almost like on 80th or 90th. We were way up there because my girlfriend that we were staying with lived on the Upper East Side.
Okay.
Like probably off 85th, I would say.
Oh, neighbors with your boy.
And then we were with her for like a day and a half, and then we went down to Brooklyn and saw the rest of Will's friends. So when we were with her, we had brunch up there, and then we walked through the park all the way down to the plaza, and it was like perfect. The weather was really nice. It was like 40 something, but it was
ideal in New York.
Beautiful in the park. We were like doing the whole thing, like. And then we got down to the plaza. We like were at the plaza, and then we walked over to the Rockefeller tree, and then you're like already over there where all of this, like Saks has like all the window displays and everything like that. You don't even have to go in. You can just be like walking.
Yeah.
But it was a great walk. It was a long walk, but it was like so relaxed. The weather was great. We were all just like chatting and like having a great time. We stopped in and had a drink. Once we got close to the plaza, I forgot where we went. But like I think you make a whole day out of that. Of just like, you don't have to go shopping or anything, but just like seeing all the stores, seeing all the Christmassy stuff.
Yeah, it's the best.
And then Soho and the West Village are like so cute. And even the East Village, like I love like having a drink at the Bowery is like so great. Just like having fun hotel lobby cocktails is like one of my favorite things to do.
Can't go wrong.
We recently in May stayed at the Greenwich, and like I would kill to stay at the Greenwich during Christmas. I'm sure it's like a total vibe.
Absolutely. New York, like they put out for Christmas vibes.
Yeah. It like everywhere. It doesn't,
vibes,
you could just be walking around. That's the best part about really any city is like doing your own walking tour. But like New York at Christmas, you can basically do whatever. I don't think it's necessary to like go see the Rockefeller, like, or the Rockettes.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you want to schedule it way ahead of time, go for it. That's not one like if you're there and you're like, oh, I want to do like you can skip that.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
My favorite way to take in a city as an adult now. We've talked about this a lot. Is just walking around, popping in places, having a drink, having a couple reservations to have a bare bones day, and then just like seeing where it takes me.
Yeah.
But if you need to plan stuff out and you want to like do tea at the plaza and do the Rockettes and do all that, you can do that too. I just think that's more of a like girls trip / maybe you take your kids to that.
Yeah.
I think for like a fun little romantic first anniversary, I think you're just like walking around enjoying the magic of New York.
Totally. Dude, the more you're on your feet, the more you're going to enjoy the city. Pop in places, enjoy
just have
the
all the
lights
nightcaps.
Yeah. Ugh.
Love it.
I would say I'm jealous, but I'm going, so I'm just excited.
I hope that we're going.
Yeah, I do too. It would be much.
Make that
it would be
happen.
much more fun to go maybe for something sponsored than just be on my buddy's couch for like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Be much better. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us today, Sally. Anything before we jump out of here?
No, I have zero shower thoughts.
Zero shower thoughts for me too. If you need a reservation, that's randy@washmedia.com. He can help you out with his Resi account. Unfortunately, he's muted, so he can't respond to that. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL, or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on both those platforms. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.